Imagine waking up and floating in the air, eating food from a pouch, and watching Earth spin below you at 28,000 kilometers an hour. Welcome to life in space, where everything is upside down. But surviving in space isn't just about floating and taking cool selfies. It's about adapting to a world with no air, no gravity, extreme temperatures, and a place where even the smallest mistake can be deadly. Today, we are diving into the real story of how astronauts live, eat, sleep, and survive in one of the most hostile environments ever known, space. And trust me, it's far stranger and cooler than you think. Hi, I am Ashish and welcome to my podcast, Series with Ashish. Before an astronaut ever leaves Earth, they go through years of training that would make most of us quit on day one. They learn how to survive underwater because it simulates the feeling of weightlessness in space. They are trained to handle emergencies, operate complex spacecrafts, and even survive in forests and deserts in case they land far away from the target zone when returning to Earth. When launch day arrives, they're strapped inside a small capsule sitting on top of a rocket more powerful than 400 jet engines combined. As the countdown ends, the rocket ignites and blasts off, reaching orbit in just 8 minutes. That's right, it takes only 8 minutes to go from Earth to space. But those 8 minutes are so intense, it feels like riding the world's wildest roller coaster multiplied by 100. As they reach space, gravity disappears and everything floats, including the astronauts themselves. Even their eyeballs change shape due to the fluids shifting in their bodies. That's how extreme space can be. Once they arrive at the International Space Station, which is basically a giant science lab orbiting 400 kilometers above Earth, the real adventure begins. Now, picture this. There's no way up, no way down, and no place to walk because there's no gravity at all. Astronauts don't walk, they glide through the air like superheroes by pushing off the walls. Sleeping in space is a whole new challenge. There are no beds and no pillows. Astronauts sleep in special sleeping bags attached to the walls so they don't float away and bump into equipment. And because there's no gravity pulling their body down, sleeping while floating feels like hanging in mid-air forever. Now, eating in space is a real art. Imagine trying to eat soup when it doesn't stay in the bowl and floats in tiny blobs. That's why food in space comes in vacuum-sealed packs. Astronauts add water, mix it up, and eat with a spoon that has a magnet or a velcro so it doesn't float away. And bread is totally banned because the crumbs could float into equipment or lungs, which is why they use tortillas instead. And if you're wondering about drinks, they don't use cups. Water floats too, so they drink from sealed pouches with straws attached. And here's the mind-blowing part. All the water they drink is recycled from their own sweat, breath, and yes, even urine. There's a system on the station that purifies urine into clean drinking water. And it's so pure that it's actually cleaner than most of the water we drink on Earth. Now let's talk about something everyone secretly wonders. How do astronauts use the toilet? Well, in zero gravity, there's no way anything falls down. So they use a vacuum-powered toilet that sucks waste away with airflow. And astronauts have to strap themselves onto the toilet seat or they'll literally float away while doing their business. The system separates solid and liquid waste, and while the liquids get recycled into water, the solids are compressed and sent back to Earth on cargo ships. And taking a bath is not possible. Instead, astronauts clean themselves with wet wipes and rinseless shampoo. They also wear special clothes designed to last longer. Sometimes they wear the same shirt for a whole week before changing it. Not gross, just efficient. Surviving in space isn't just about food and toilets. The real danger comes from things we can't even see. First, there's radiation. Space is filled with cosmic rays, and without the Earth's atmosphere, astronauts are exposed to it 24/7. That's why the International Space Station has special shielding, and during solar storms, astronauts hide in the most protected part of the station. Then there's temperature. In space, the sun-facing side can be over 120 degrees Celsius, and the dark side drops to -150 Celsius. To survive this, the station is covered in insulation and heaters that constantly adjust the temperature. Even breathing is a challenge in space. Astronauts rely on life support systems that create oxygen and remove carbon dioxide. If these systems fail, they only have minutes to fix them before things get really unfortunate. And because muscles and bones get weaker in zero gravity, astronauts must exercise for 2 hours every day. There's a treadmill, a stationary bike, and even a machine that simulates weightlifting using resistance, all to keep them healthy for when they return Earth. When they're not working on science experiments or repairing systems, astronauts do get free time. They watch movies, read books, play musical instruments, and even video call their families. Some even take photos of Earth and try to find their hometowns from space. In fact, astronauts once grew lettuce in space and ate it fresh, the first ever space-grown food. And as humans plan missions to Mars, growing food in space might become our key to survival. When the mission ends, astronauts return in a small capsule. As they enter Earth's atmosphere, the capsule heats up to 1600 degrees Celsius, hotter than lava. Heat shields protect them, and parachutes slow them down as they fall back to Earth. Once they land, astronauts often feel wobbly and can't walk properly because their bodies have forgotten how to deal with gravity. It takes days, sometimes weeks, for them to feel normal again. So, surviving in space is not just cool, it's a mix of bravery, science, and adaptability. Astronauts live in a world where everything is different, and yet they thrive. Now, here's the big question. If you had the chance, would you go to space and live like an astronaut? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this space adventure, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Series with Ashish for more incredible journeys and facts that will blow your mind. This was it for today's episode. Meet you next time with another interesting narrative. Oh.